Oh, hi! So, today is Christmas Eve, which this year, 2018, is a Monday, and not this past weekend, but last weekend, on December 16th, we got to go to the Harry and the Potter's Yule Ball. This was my 11th year going. This was their 14th, and I've gone to most of them. I don't think I went to the very first two, and then I missed one more somewhere in the past decade, but it's just part of Christmas for me, part of like the end of the year. There's a couple friends I always see there and I love them so much, and then it's become mine and my friend Allie's like friend tradition. The first time the two of us hung out together was going to that show, and it was so much fun, and we got to bond a lot because we had only met once before that. She's great, and I'm so glad that's part of our like Christmas tradition. For me, as I have said a bunch of times now on this channel, this has been the hardest year of my life. Last year was also tough. I feel like since the 2016 election, not to get into any political rants, a lot of people in my life have just been running at a lower mental state. Not a full-on depression or anything, but like it's like there's this giant cloud over everyone I know. So that included, plus like I lost my dog that year, and last year was the start of my dad getting diagnosed with brain cancer, and I had a really hard time at my job. I was in a really bad way work-wise, and it was just sucking the life out of me. And then things got a little better for me at the beginning of 2018 because I started at the costume shop, which was an absolute dream, and I'm so thankful for the time that I got to have there. I learned so much, and I really enjoyed the people I worked with. I couldn't have asked for a better place to be working when everything happened with my dad passing and everything leading up to that. Like I said in my first video back, there are just things I saw and dealt with, and again, it's not like I saw as much as some other people did, but it's gonna haunt me for the rest of my life. You can't just come back from seeing someone you love die. So obviously I've been pretty fucked up this year, and would have been much worse off mentally had I been at my old job. I had people there that cared very much about me, and I cared very much about them, but just general day-to-day job satisfaction wasn't there, so at least I had that. But right before I went to the Yule Ball, I found out I was losing the costume shop job. I don't have hard feelings against the company or anything like that. It's a great place to work, and again, I learned so much. It was like a paid apprenticeship for me, and I really exceeded any expectations that I had for myself. That's all I could have really asked for. Like, I am so much better than I was, and just personally, I grew a lot there. It sucks and it's hard. I know it's hard for everyone involved, but I'm gonna miss the hell out of it. And yeah, but that has obviously put another big damper on the end of my year. So that's also why, if you've been following me on here, follow any of my social media stuff, you've probably seen I've reopened my Etsy shop and I'm taking commissions. And I guess if you didn't know, by the way, I've reopened my Etsy shop and I'm doing commissions, and you know, let's talk if there's something you want made, if you're local, or I guess if you feel like covering the shipping, I can do, you know, some alterations, replacing zippers, hemming pants, that kind of stuff. Message me and we can talk. And you know, if I can't do it, I'll obviously let you know. But like, I need that right now. I'm obviously looking for other jobs. If I could make things work sewing for a living, and you know, having a part-time job on the side or something like that, and obviously making videos, like if I didn't have my Patreon, I don't know how this month would have gone. That's why I've been saying at the end of a couple of my videos, if you've been considering donating to my Patreon, or I did start a Ko-fi page, I'll link to all that below. Now would be the time to reach out there if you want to support me in any of those ways. Trying to do the damn thing, you know? That's the update as far as that goes. But back to going to the Yule Ball. I promise there's a through line here. Few things in this world make me more emotional in a good way and like feel like there is good in the world like watching a Jason Anderson set. I have never met or been in the presence of a more positive person. He just has this really big impact on me, and that's part of going to the Yule Ball. He's been at every single Boston Yule Ball, and every time I've gotten to see him is just very powerful for me, and I'm so lucky I get to see that every year. There's something about seeing live music anyway that like I don't really like drinking at concerts. I have a couple times, but it like dulls the experience for me, and I get a very like visceral reaction to good live music, and it is like times 10 anytime I go see him play. He did film a video with me a couple years ago for my friend's birthday, and he suggested we have a podcast together. The thought of getting to like regularly talk to that energy, I didn't follow it up. I don't know if that was a real offer or not, but I like can't think of anybody else I would want to work on something like that on a regular basis more than that guy. But anyway, enough fangirling. I hope that there is something out there in the world for everyone that impacts them so positively as much as seeing his set does for me, because yeah, it means a lot. I think he made it on stage and didn't even start playing his guitar yet before I was openly weeping for his entire like 30-minute set, which that hasn't happened before, but just with the year I've had, I knew it was going to be an emotional evening. And then thankfully they hit it just right at the Yule Ball, because it always leads into like really badass women wizard rockers and then just the full-on silliness of the Harry and the Potter sets. Their songs make me so happy because you can tell like everyone on stage genuinely is so into the series. But they're also really good musicians and very clever and like take the piss a little bit, and it's just so much fun. It's always just like such a positive and silly way to end the night. So even if it's like the first Yule Ball after the 2016 election was a very intense night. Like there was a lot of very strong feelings in the room, and everyone, like I said, has just been running at a lower level. And you know, there's like the Harry Potter Alliance, which is a big activist group, in my opinion, do a ton of good for the world. It's kind of like a real life Dumbledore's army, and there's always a lot of very strong, powerful messages at the Yule Ball. That definitely happens during their set too. But before they came on, Tonks and the Aurors came on. I've been at Yule Balls that she was at, but I didn't see her sets before, and I deeply regret that, especially because Tonks is like my favorite character from the Harry Potter series. But her songs just make me feel so badass, like we can take over the world and have positive change and everything, but again are also like really good catchy songs. I really like her voice, and it's a lot of like crowd participation, and she just seems like the coolest human being ever. So there was like, I was already in a crazy emotional state from Jason Anderson's set, and then Tonks and the Aurors came out, and I just felt like I could do anything, which was kind of nice because I have just had the absolute shit kicked out of me this year, so feeling like I kind of got that back a little bit was so what I needed. And then after her set was the very last Whomping Willow set. Obviously seen him play at the Yule Ball before, and I really like his songs. They're especially clever in my opinion because he's singing from the point of view of a tree, and who comes up with that idea? I love it so much. But because it was his last set, when Matt came out, he gave this incredible speech. I was already sobbing the entire night, and it was just this really intense emotional love letter to the Wizard Rock community, and just how fucking great it feels being in a crowd of those kinds of people. I don't think I could have mentally handled any other concert because I was in such a bad headspace after everything that had happened. I don't know how many of you are into any of their music. I know it's like a very intense fandom for Harry Potter. There's like, if you didn't know, there's a whole genre of music called Wizard Rock that is specifically about the Harry Potter series, and it makes me so happy. It obviously means so much to these other people, and the fact every year I get to gather with them. No, I'm always very socially awkward and have trouble going up to people I admire very much because like my feelings for their content or what they put out in the world is like maybe a little too intense for me to calmly have a conversation with them without being like, I just love you so much. I'm just so thankful that I get this every year and that I get to have my friend Allie with me, and she means so much to me, and I get to see my friend Jamie. She's just like this big ray of sunshine, even though she's had like really, really horrific hard times too. It's just the best night. This has straight up turned into just like a fangirl love letter, and that's okay because I feel very strongly about this event. So yeah, I just wanted to share this in case some of you didn't know anything about this world, or let's nerd out about it if you are into any of those bands. Just to mention again, I'm currently workshopping some like prototypes and stuff for new items in my Etsy shop. I know the stuff that's up there has been around for a while. For the most part, there are some new things on there. I have some costumes I might sell that I don't wear anymore. Let me know if you're interested in that. Again, if you want to reach out, if there's like a comic book convention coming up and you want to make like a really cool cosplay but are stuck on a couple pieces or whatever, like let's talk. And again, if it's not something I'm comfortable taking on or feel competent in doing, like I'm not gonna take your money, obviously. I am available for hire. I have my Patreon and my coffee page, so I feel like tossing a couple bucks my way as if we were going out for a cup of coffee or a beer or something, I'd be eternally grateful. 2019 is gonna be better. It has to be better. I'm gonna fucking force it to be better. I hope y'all will stick around for the ride. It's gonna be an interesting year, but hopefully it's heading in a positive direction. Cheers, and Merry Christmas if you celebrate it. There's a very big spider.